Do you know of a stellar leader or an outstanding organization that deserves a proper shout-out? Nominate them for IBJ's awards. From 40 in their 40s and Women of Influence to Nonprofit and Healthcare Excellence Awards, we're celebrating rising stars, seasoned leaders, and organizations making a difference. Discover which programs are accepting nominations now at ibj.com/nominate. Do you want to mix moments of inspiration with time to network? IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrations honoring Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat now at ibj.com/register.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, August 25th, 2025. I'm Alex Braun. After 43 years in the old Lake County Courthouse in downtown Crown Point, the Lake County Historical Society Museum is looking for a new location. Executive Director Diane Gora says the volunteer-led organization is working feverishly to catalog the thousands of items the museum has received over many decades before being forced to vacate by the end of the year.
We've focused most of our energy on trying to figure out how to preserve what we're going to keep and loan out what we hopefully we'll get back in a year.
Preparations are also underway to celebrate the Lake County Historical Society's 150th anniversary with a small open house on September 27th. Governor Mike Braun today said the state was selling the former General Motors stamping plant site just west of downtown Indianapolis to Elanco Animal Health for $27 million. The site largely surrounds the $200 million plus headquarters campus for Elanco that is set to open October 1st, marking the official shift of Elanco's headquarters from Greenfield to Indy. Bishop Luers High School in Fort Wayne has launched an $11 million fundraising campaign to renovate classrooms, build a gym with a performing arts stage, and establish an endowment. The campaign, called Ignite the Spirit, has already raised $2.5 million in a quiet phase. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media Podcast Network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita's office is targeting what it calls discriminatory DEI practices. IIB's Mark Mazurek has details.
Companies seeking to partner with the state of Indiana must affirm that they don't have any diversity, equity, or inclusive practices, quote, that treat people differently on the basis of race and sex when recruiting, hiring, promoting, and conducting other employment activities, end quote. That's all according to a new policy that took effect July 1st. Rokita's office reviews and approves all state contracts while enforcing the False Claims Act. The additional anti-DEI certification action is undertaken, quote, in coordination, end quote, with Governor Mike Braun and the Indiana Department of Administration. In a news release, Rokita said DEI, quote, is often used as a cover for policies that violate state and/or federal civil rights laws. State contracts will still have language prohibiting racial discrimination, but contractors could experience consequences under the state's False Claims Act if found to have DEI programs violating Indiana or federal civil rights laws. Following a January executive order, executive branch agencies cannot use state funds or resources to support DEI positions, departments, activities, or programs. Also last week, the state abruptly canceled its 2025 business conference and the B2 Bloom Expo. That gathering showcased opportunities for underrepresented companies to contract with state government. The Indiana Department of Administration declined to share why that conference was canceled. I'm Marek Mazurek with Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Forrest Lucas, an Indiana native and well-known entrepreneur and philanthropist who founded Lucas Oil Products, died Saturday at age 83. Lucas, who was born in Ramsey, deep in southern Indiana in 1942, founded Lucas Oil in 1988 in Corona, California, and built it into a household name by signing a $122 million sponsorship in 2006 to put the company's name on the home of the Indianapolis Colts for 20 years. Lucas Oil Stadium opened in 2008. He moved the company's headquarters to Indianapolis in 2024. That same year, he also began handing control of the business to his family, promoting son Morgan Lucas to CEO and daughter Katie Lucas to president as part of a transition plan. U.S. Steel founded the city of Gary in 1906, and now the largest integrated steel mill in the world is preparing for a new owner in Nippon Steel and a new future. Nippon says it will invest $3.1 billion into the iconic Gary Works mill in northwest Indiana, and Gary Mayor Eddie Melton says it will be a key piece of building momentum in the city, which has endured more than its share of challenges.
As you know, I was state senator for 2 terms here in Indianapolis in General Assembly. Senate Bill 434 was a bill that I passed my last session, and it provides funding for us to have matching dollars, $5 million for the next 20 years, which will be partnering with the Hard Rock Casino in the city of Gary to build a $140 million convention center. That's going to be a catalyst right on 8094, one of the most busiest highways in North America. 300,000 cars a day. So building off of that with a brand new hotel and 2 additional hotels that a private developer will be building as well.
Last week, the city began the $12 million Gary Blight Elimination Program, with the first 2 structures to be demolished being a former barbershop and former ambulance repair shop. PNC Bank executive Jason Eckerly is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Braun for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
From broadcast to podcast, Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick is now available anytime on YouTube or in your podcast feed. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcast or at ibjpodcast.com.
On the go? So are we. Get the IBJ Media app, your all-in-one news source for Indiana business news. Get breaking news alerts, read every story from IBJ, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Lawyer, and listen to your favorite podcasts all in one place. Big news, small screen. Search IBJ Media and download the app today.